This is Dr. Gwen. Today we're going to be talking about systems. I am very glad that I am able to connect with you. I want to talk to you if you are live and breathing. That's right. So entrepreneurs, CEOs, stay-at-home parents, professionals, whoever you are, as long as you're breathing, as long as you are live, you are going to want to hear about the topic that we will be talking about today, which is why you need systems and how to create them. Now, I want you to sit back and get a pen and paper ready because I'm going to be sharing with you 8 steps. They're really 7 steps, but I've expanded them to 8 steps that you will need to know about to create systems. So if you're ready, I am too. I've told you what my goals are to share with you those 8 steps. And I just want to also add that if you're an entrepreneur and you hire virtual assistants and you hire other people to help you with your tasks, they are going to absolutely love you for this. They're going to just completely love you for setting up this process that I'm about to teach you here today. Now, what is it for? Have you ever struggled through something in your life, in your business, and wondered how in the world can my life be just a tad bit easier than it is? Or what about you may have a procedure that you do maybe once or twice a year, and because you do it so infrequently, when you go to do it, it takes you hours to do simply because you just cannot remember what the one sequence is after the other. And so you end up using a lot of time, much more time, trying to remember the process than actually executing the process yourself. Or maybe, as I said before, you have someone that you're delegating tasks to. And if you're delegating to people, then it's really important that you know what you're delegating and they know exactly what you want them to do. And so hirees, if you're hiring them, they're just absolutely going to love you if you have a special process outlined for them that will make their lives easier. And here is really, really a big one. You service-based entrepreneurs who are putting out content and organizing stuff. Did you know that a system can help you to do that and to do that so much more effectively so that you're not pulling your hair out every week or every month just wondering, what is it now that I'm going to say, what I'm going to talk about? See, for me personally, I love using systems. I have a system where I've outlined all of my content for 12 months, so I never have to worry what I'm going to talk about this month or next month. I never worry about what I'm going to put in my blog articles. And what I put in my blog articles is usually what I put on my YouTube channel and also on my podcast show, aside from the fact when I have people that I'm interviewing. I absolutely love systems. They make my tasks so much easier. I use them also for those times when I may do certain activities once or twice a year, not very often, and I don't have to try to pull my hair out trying to remember what the process is, or even looking for ads or looking for images or looking for other things that I use to make the processes work smoothly. For example, when I do my challenges, I have all of my links, all of my processes outlined in one place in a particular software that I combine and I go to. And because I don't use a process very often, then I need it because I don't want to spend time looking for things and wasting time trying to remember what it is that I need to do. And when my kids were really younger, very small, I had a system of responsibilities around the home. So for you, stay-at-home parent, now that we're home, most people are at the house. This could be a really great time that you can use to set up your systems so that you, when you go back to work or when you go back to your routine, everything can run so much more smoothly for you. My responsibilities chart helped my kids learn responsibilities, as well as it helped me as a mom get a better handle, a better grip on the running of my home and how every kid was going to fit in place. When I got married, there were 6 children in the household. That was a crazy state of affairs. And if I didn't have systems, my house would be totally chaotic, would be completely disorganized, and everybody would be running amok. And no one would really learn how to take care of responsibilities. So our responsibilities chart then helped the kids know what it is that they're going to do. And then there were rewards built in place for them, whether it was stickers when they were younger to money when they got older, which we use to teach them financial principles. So anybody, if you're breathing and if you're alive, you can use a system to help make your life smoother. And if you want to become efficient and profitable, then you need a system. And we're talking profitable in terms of money and in terms of your peace of mind, because you know that's what I'm all about. How can a system help you? I think you've got some ideas based on what I just said. But what are some of the benefits that you can get from setting up a system? First, it helps to redeem or relieve your stress. Your stress levels can go down when you have a system because it communicates to everyone what the expectations are, and it helps you know what's coming next. It helps you to delegate your responsibilities so you're not tearing your hair out, as I said. If you're hiring help, if you have a virtual assistant, a system can help you to set up the processes for the virtual assistant, especially if they're new. It reduces your onboarding time so that they know exactly what your expectations are and how to set it up. And in a moment, I'm going to go through how to create that system, and I will give you a little more detail about that. I also will share a link. So are you ready? I want to start with the first one, and before I do that, I also want to say that with this system that I'm sharing with you, this is the overall view. This is the bird's eye view, just looking from above. So if you have a business already and you don't have any system set up, this is the place to start. Or if you're in an organization, you're a CEO or a leader in the organization and you've got nothing in place, this is a systems view, like an overall view of looking at your organization to see how you're going to break out the different areas or categories in your organization so you can actually get what you want. So the first thing is think about what the goals are for your organization. What are the general overall goals? Think about the big picture module of what your organization is about and what you're creating. So I talk about that as identifying the goals of your organization. What are those big goals? For example, if you are a service-based entrepreneur, maybe you are a realtor, or maybe you're a coach, or some other service-based business entrepreneur, then you think about what are you trying to achieve. Your overall goal is to make sure that your clients are knowledgeable about the processes that they are involved with. Your overall goal is getting clients, those types of clients that you want to get. Your overall goal may be servicing your clients so that they know exactly what their needs are and how your business can provide the solutions for the needs that they have. Their general overall goals. You may also have overall goals to help your business look more professional. That is the branding aspect of your business. So you think about all of that, and you actually begin now to separate those into categories. So step 2, after you think about all the goals, now you break them out into categories. And those categories are what I call departments. So you might have one for branding and design. You might have financial and accounting. You may have marketing and advertising. You definitely will want to have customer acquisition, right? And if you're at home, you may have a system for different aspects of your home, organizing a space, setting up your office, whatever it is. You can see how broad and overarching or simple and specific that a system can be. But nevertheless, this general description that I'm sharing with you will help you to create a system that you can really be proud of, that everybody who uses will thank you for. So we've covered the overall goal of your organization or home. We've covered now breaking those organizations down into categories. So what I call departments. Once you have your departments established, what I just went through, now the third step is to break them down further into subcategories. And in your subcategories, you're going to have at least 3 primary goals or objectives for that. And this can look very detailed. As I said, the template that I will provide will give you a total breakdown of this. And it can be very far-reaching, very overarching. So you're going to need those at least 3 primary objectives for your business. So let's say you take on the customer acquisition piece. One of the primary goals may be, number 1, to attract the right customer. And that will be your marketing design stuff. Number 2 may be to nurture your customer. That may be your content design piece. Number 3 may be probably closing the sale. And you're going to have systems for each one of those. Every one of those primary goals, you will now go on to create the 4th step, which is the steps and actions that everyone will take in going through those 3 primary goals. So now, number 1, if you're looking at the customer acquisition piece, what is it that you're going to do first? And you're providing a list, detailed, step-by-step sequence. And I also want to say that as you do this, particularly it is important that you create screenshots, if you will, or short video clips, if you will, if they have to go into some software to learn how to use the software in order to execute it. My VAs just absolutely love me because they find that when I hire, there is not any time wasted with anybody coming on board trying to figure anything out. Everything is there in details. I give them the link to the platform where my instructions are. They go in there, they watch the videos, they read the descriptions, and I ask them to send me questions if they have it. Typically, they're up and going. On day 1, we are already beginning to attract clients or to attract leads in the systems that I've created. And it's very clear. They don't have any questions at all about what my expectations are, and they know exactly how I'm going to be assessing. We'll talk a little bit more about the assessment in a short while, but that was the 4th step, that you must outline clear, specific action steps that you want your folks to take while they are actually doing it. Now, I did talk about doing the resources and the video clips, and this step can actually be combined or compacted into the one before, but I listed it as a fifth step anyway, just for you. You might, it doesn't matter really as you're going through the steps, it really doesn't matter, but you want to list all the software that you use, all the software that they will use, giving them specific links, login information, all the details that would go along with using the software, pointing them to the resources where they can have videos to see how to use the software. Or what I do specifically is I do a couple examples with the software so that they know exactly where to go to. They're not all over the place inside of that software trying to figure out where exactly they need to focus. So I go in, I make a video of the steps as I walk and talk through it, and then that's posted up there so they know they go straight to it. So software is a huge piece to help your systems work. I use a lot of software, and not when I say a lot, for different things. Combined software as well that helps me to organize my systems and to get my clients through the processes, to get my paperwork signed, to get my contract signed by my clients. All that is automated. So, you know, that it's in there in the system, and my VA has the steps. When they come on board, this is what you send them. This is the next thing you send them. The customers sign electronically. It enters back in our system. They get a copy. All of these will help you. Now, just in case you're not an entrepreneur and you may be at home as a mom, there are other things as well that you can use inside of your home to help you to organize your space as a system. And it's not finished, right? Because we have now 3 more steps. The 6th step is the timeline. And when I say timeline, you need to tell people how long the process should take, especially if you're hiring and paying. And if you're paying on an hourly basis, it is even more so important. If you're paying on a project basis, then it may not be as critical. But on an hourly basis, you should tell that client how long the process should take, because you have done it yourself and now you know how it is. Now you've got to give a little bit of allowance for them if they're new in the process, because if they are new in the process, they may not be as up and quick at using the software as you are. So give a little bit of allowance for that. But that 6th step is to add the timeline to the process so that you know just how long it's going to take. And if you're a business owner, you will be able to calculate how much it's going to cost you based on the time frame. All these details are important. The 7th thing is, which is where a lot of people miss, is the tracking and evaluating. So in your system, as you're creating it, you're going to outline exactly how people are going to track what they're doing. So you're saying, okay, if you're doing this, you should get 25 clients per day, and you're outlining the process of getting 25 clients or leads per day, and outline that and track that. That becomes your measure to assess them to see how they performed your task. So it's all built in. For you, for them, it becomes easier for everybody involved. To this step, you also want to create a strategic plan. So what I have is I have a strategic plan that's outlined with all of the processes, the goals, the resources, and resources include people, if you will, the time frame, how I'm measuring it. All that is locked into that as one sheet, like a spreadsheet. I created on a Word table, and that can be a summary of the whole process. The details and the steps you would not put in there, of course, but it becomes a summary table, a summary chart showing how many leads you will be doing, maybe what the cost will be in another column, etc. And this will all be something that you can use at your strategic planning meetings to get yourself all organized and to see how well your business is progressing. And the final thing is to remember this: revise, tweak as you go, because no system is probably going to be 100% perfect as you set it out the first time. So tweak it, revise it, speak with your VA, speak with your people involved, speak with the family at home, see what worked, what didn't work, tweak it and revise it, and keep doing that until you have a perfected system. Now, the great thing is you can create this type of system and create manuals, operational manuals for your businesses, for your organizations. I love to do those. I love to help my clients. And when I was a leader in an organization, I love to create those operational manuals that would give people the step-by-step processes and make it so much simpler for them to go about doing the tasks that I was expecting them to do, so that they could do it in a manner that was less stress for them and less stress for me, because then they weren't running to me every second to ask me questions. It was all written out there and outlined. So those are the 8 steps, and I'm going to summarize them once again briefly for you before we close. Number 1, identify the goals, the overall goal of the organization. Of course, if you're going to create a system for just one tiny piece, then you probably do also need to identify what the goals are for that. Separate your goals into categories. I like to call them departments. You may not be at that upscale overview level, but wherever you are, you may be starting with one of those departments instead of just breaking out several departments to focus on each. Create your subcategories for the departments. That's the 3rd step. And once you create your subcategories, you're going to also put a minimum of 3 primary goals that you want to achieve under each of those subcategories. Then you're going to list the steps, complete the steps in detail. Pictures if you can, videos if you can. That will help. List all the software or resources that people will need to access to help them to do this in a most efficient way. Add the time frame it should take them to do this. Shouldn't take you 6 hours when it's just 25 minutes, because you'd be paying for 6 hours instead of 25 minutes. So set that expectation of what the time frame is that it's going to take, and you add that to the tracking. That helps you to track. So you create the tracking and the measuring and the assessing to see how they're doing. Put it all in an action plan, strategic plan sheet, and then definitely revise, tweak, revise, tweak, perfect, and you have a system that everybody who comes in contact with what you're asking them to do will absolutely love. I hope you enjoyed that brief presentation. I hope you got a lot of great tips from that, and I would love to hear how you enjoyed this. Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Grab your notepad and pencil for today's resource.